Welcome everyone to the Monica Brant Show. I'm Monica, and I've got my beautiful co-host here, Roxy.
Hello, everyone.
In the house. And we've got a super special announcement. We've got 5-time Ms Olympia, just won last night, Ms Olympia, the 60th anniversary of the Olympia, like Andrea Shaw, Miss Pretty Muscle in the house. I am so honored that we have you here.
Thank you so much, because I've been a huge fan of yours for many years.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. I'm
many
like,
years.
Thank you.
Yeah, I grew up just watching you. So you've been a huge
Okay,
inspiration.
you're making me get a little choked up, a little
so when you asked,
in my throat right here.
I said it was a resounding yes to come onto the show. So thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. I need another.
The joy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm bubbling over. I'm bubbling over.
Okay, so this is like, it hasn't even been 24 hours for you yet.
Not yet. And I'm still like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Especially at the 60th.
Yes.
And you've been to many Olympias.
24 now.
For this to be
Yeah.
the 60th, it's very special. Very, very special.
What do you think, Roxy? We got Miss Olympia in the house.
I know.
Officially,
It's like,
right here, right now.
I'm still starstruck, even though we're friends. And we work together in Michigan. It's like, I'm just like,
And I'm usually texting her like, "Are you coming to work this weekend?"
Oh my
And
gosh.
she's like,
Okay.
"Yeah, of course I'm there."
Where do y'all work together? First of all.
So we do posing clinics together.
Okay.
So we service Michigan as of right now. And Roxy will do the bikini division as well as wellness.
Yes.
And then I will do all of the rest of the remaining categories. So
that is amazing.
Yeah.
You never told me this.
Yeah. So
This
when she
girl
said I'm
keeps telling me
co-hosting,
more and more things she does, and I'm like,
she's amazing. She's amazing.
How
She
fun.
really is. And such a trusted individual who loves the sport. And when you meet these people who have a heart for the sport, as you do as well, especially long after retirement, it says a lot about you being more connected than just the average person. And it's still a lifestyle, right? It's to your core who
Right.
we are.
Right.
And we get to inspire people long after your career is done or as your career is starting. And we get to touch so many lives. That's the blessing in it, truly, because at the end of the day, we want to live healthy.
Yes.
Right.
Quality of life becomes the biggest concern for any human.
right.
And this part we get to give back at, the
And
sky's
get
the
together,
limit.
like, how fun is that?
It's the
So
best.
I just interviewed a little earlier today 2 of my dear friends from back in the 90s and 2000s, Tamaya Marova and Beth Horn, both IFBB pros. And we've stayed in touch and friends. This is like 20-something years later.
Yeah.
And we photo shoots and working the booths and competing on stage, like fitness. Because we
and
all
all
did
the
fitness.
magazines,
Yes.
right?
Magazines. Like,
And we have
so
magazines.
this is what is, it's such amazing that this sport brings people together, and if they're willing and not just all about themselves, it's about communicating and
Community.
stay together in community. That's so wonderful. I love
And
it.
these relationships serve you long after.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many countless times that I've been blessed to be able to pick up the phone and get more done in just a phone call than I ever could writing a check. And it's
Right.
and these are trusted people, right?
Yes.
These people have been vetted, they've been in the business, they know
Right.
exactly how things work.
Yeah.
And these people have, again, we built up these relationships and they're like, of course I'll handle it for you.
Yeah.
Because they know that we would do the same in return.
Yes.
So it's such a joy to have that give and take, the sowing and the reaping of sorts, of
Well, you
good
know,
fruits.
In my early 20s, when I just got brand new into the industry, I used to go to a lot of the bodybuilding guys, and they would help me with like contracts or like, how do you handle this? And then there was a couple times that I got maybe stiffed on some of the appearance thing, and they were like, no, girl, you got to get 50%
Yeah.
up front. And
That's it.
these are like Flex Wheeler, Chris Cormier, Milo Sarzov, like some of these guys, right? That they just wanted to help me in my budding career and how to handle certain things, because I didn't know. I was a waitress, in
Exactly, and it's
school,
like they've been in the biz so
Yeah.
much already. Because a lot of the guys just got hit hot and heavy, and they knew right away certain things to kind of look out for.
Right.
And you know what? They're still that way.
Yes, 100%.
Chris is still that way.
100%.
That is true.
Okay, so let's go back in time a little bit. Okay, because we just have Ms Olympia sitting right here. Where's your award? You should be wearing that, girl.
I did, but my traps were getting sore. I was
Where
like,
is it?
whoa, it's heavy.
Where is it? Okay, but tell me, tell a little bit to the audience. What's your background, and how long have you been bodybuilding, and how did you get started? Were you an athlete?
I was
going into this.
So I started in cheerleading and gymnastics.
Okay.
And we're talking more like grade school and middle school. But then after that, it was my mom she wanted to do a show, but she got into training. And when I got back from Kansas, we had a family farm in Kansas that I stayed with my dad on.
Oh, okay.
My mom had this whole life of just training, going to the gym, and I'm like, okay, well, this is different. But
and where was that?
And that was at Powerhouse in Michigan.
In Michigan, okay.
Yeah, so we have the first original Powerhouse ever
On 8 Mile.
in Michigan.
Okay.
So yeah, it was actually founded in Michigan by Norm and Will Davish.
I know Will.
Yeah, and Will's still our chairman for the state for
Okay.
NBC and IFBB. And so at that point, I was like, well, you know what? I at least could do something, because I mean, after cheer stopped, it was like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I could at least cardio and abs. Started there. And then I'm starting to walk around the gym. People are like competing, getting ready for shows, and they see this mural of Linda on the wall, and I'm like, this could be cool. But then I started, and you'll love that, Bob Kennedy.
Oh, yes.
So when I started subscribing to
Oxygen Magazine.
I knew right away, and it was so cool because I ended up emailing the company, and I said, I love the content. How do you get your girls? Because I'm like, I would love to be in a magazine one day.
Yeah.
And Bob responded. It was actually Bob. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
he was so hands-on.
He is, and it was so cool. I'll never forget it. But he said, we're usually at the shows, and if we like your look as a competitor, we're usually going to approach you. And I said, well, I guess I'm going to do a show. So I jumped in the figure.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, I got heels. Don't know what I'm doing. I got
I'm here.
a Jenny Lynn posing DVD.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just took it and studied it. And then my first show was 2008.
Okay.
And so I jumped on the stage. I did a 4-week prep. Don't advise that. But I came in third at that show, which, okay,
That's
I'm like,
pretty amazing for a 4-week prep.
Not bad, especially
That's
4
crazy.
weeks,
I ate a
right?
lot of chicken and lettuce. Let me tell you that, with vinegar. And then
Chicken and
3
lettuce.
months later, I did my second figure show, a bigger show, and I came in fourth. And I said, okay, well, I
There's
must be
something here.
something. Yeah, there must be some sort of sauce here, but figure's not my lane. So I took a break, finished college, and I said, well, you know what? I'm still going to work out. I'm not going to stop that because I love that part of it. And I said, when the opportunity's right, something will come.
Yeah.
And so fast forward to 2016, Women's Physique emerges. And I said, I'm liking the muscle I see here.
Yes.
I'm like, I carry more of this look.
Right.
And gym and cheer and gymnastics lent itself to just having a more dominant upper body when it came to how quickly it develops. But I also have big legs, which is why I didn't do well in figure. So when Women's Physique came along, and I had never had a coach, I said, well, let me try it. I still don't want a coach yet, but let me try it. And I came in fourth. And I said, okay, I need a coach, clearly.
Yeah.
And so that's when I approached a local friend of ours, John Simmons. And I said, all right, you're a pro. I think I got a good shot at getting a pro card, but I need some guidance. So let's start in 2018. How many ever shows you want me to do? I really think I can get a pro card. And so it took me 9 months, but I got it. And I did 5 shows that year.
In physique.
In Women's Physique.
In women's physique, okay.
And yeah, at the North Americans, I came in
Yes, you
third.
said North
So I missed my
Americans.
pro card by 1 placing. So I said, all right, I got one more chance. And I was prepared. I said, if it didn't go well, I would just, next year I was going to go after it again. But Nationals came along in Miami, and I got it. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
It came, yeah.
It came. I'm like, cool. So now, pro debut, right? I mean,
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Yeah.
Natural progression.
Right.
And I'm like, I want to go to the Olympia one day. I'm like, all right. Now I'm like, next level goal. And so I got to pro debut in Toronto Pro. Got my hat handed to me. I came in 11th. And because I was the biggest girl. I really was. And it became apparent. I said, oh, this is
too
not
much.
my space.
Not too big for physique.
But I had, I had the experience from figure, so it wasn't bad. But the judges were coming up to me and saying, look, we love your look. It's beautiful. You're just in the wrong place.
Yes, it's just a wrong
and
division.
I said,
so.
okay, so I've done this before. They were like, whatever the next show is, get into it and do women's bodybuilding. just jump right in it.
Yeah.
I promise you'll do well. And I did. I went to Chicago Pro not even a whole month later. And then it was a matter of coming in second. And I said, okay, now we're on to something.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Jake Wood at that time, who now owns the Olympia,
Right.
had the Rising Phoenix. So, and it was a really cool show. You could win a car, you win a good cash prize. And I'm like, you
have
know
a
what?
lot of cars now
I do
from
have
Rising
a lot of
Phoenix.
cars now from the Rising, which is joyous. I mean, I wish they would bring it back. So hopefully they will. I think Jake is working on that.
Working on that.
So yeah, my first Rising Phoenix, I came in 7th. So still learning women's bodybuilding, and I put my body through a lot. I never really took a break from that pro card stretch,
Right,
and then
right.
the pro
You just
debut.
kept going.
Then
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I probably should take a little bit of time off. And so I did. And I said, you know what? Let me just work on refining myself as an athlete. I'm in the pro league now, but I got to really work on fine-tuning some things. And you know what it is? Athlete demands are,
Yes.
there's a lot of travel.
Yes, right.
And you really got to be prepared, especially if you're in prep.
Yes.
And that was also new to
Always.
me, and it came so fast. And that year, though, in 2019, they announced that Ms Olympia was coming back. And I
Yeah.
said,
Oh.
my God.
Yeah.
I said, I have a chance not only to win the Rising Phoenix
Yeah.
and take home a nice car,
But you miss a
but now I can be Ms Olympia too. I mean, I said, dear Lord, please make it happen. I'll do the work. Just open the door. And I mean, that's almost like exactly what happened. 2020 was a bit of an upside down year.
Right.
Yes.
For everybody, right?
Thank God we had a show.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went down to Arizona first, won the first Rising Phoenix, picked up a Camaro there. That was fun.
Ah, my. Do you still have it?
I do not.
It's okay.
I do not. But I mean, this is where I travel so much.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, assets can be turned into other assets.
Right,
True.
right.
So I decided that, you know what? The Miss Olympia was at that time 11 days away. You know, I gave the Rising Phoenix a good go, but now let's just see what happens. And the first Miss Olympia was probably extra special. It was on my birthday.
What?
It was on my birthday.
Birthday surprise.
I said, well, thank you for the gift up there. Appreciate
Everything
you.
happens in his time.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
Yes.
And I was like just in awe the first year because it was like, this is amazing. I lost my job. So when I got cut from my job, it was 4 months prior to the Olympia. I said, well,
Wow.
this has to work. My 401k is all I got left, and then the severance pays. So I have no job to go back to, coach. This has to work.
Wow.
And so, I mean, and literally ever since then, it's been year after year of just amazing results.
I love
So
that. Okay,
this
well,
is-
on your Instagram, you have God first. And so we're all like-minded, like-spirited
Yes.
here. We all have the same idea of putting him first. So
Absolutely.
what does that mean for you within your prep and when how do you match your walk and talk?
I like to make sure that I'm being mindful to honor Proverbs 3 and 5, right? In all your ways, acknowledge him. And it's almost like the things that we think are insignificant, we still
got a
should
little trick.
ask. Let's just ask, because you know what? Get the guidance first. And I think you know in your spirit, because when you have peace about it, then you know you move forward. And it's like, okay, don't say yes too quick. It's okay to tell people, you know what? I need some time to think about this and
Right.
you don't have to necessarily tell them, let me get before God and ask, or, let me.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do there.
But
That
you
way
know
they know
what?
where
That
you're
way
standing
they
too.
exactly.
Because then they're like, if they have other ulterior motives, they'll back off. Or if they appreciate that, they're like, yeah, you know?
Yep, and they're like, they're respectful of the faith. And it's
Yes.
like, okay, well,
Yeah.
if she says she feels like this is not right, then,
Yes.
and most people are more respectful than not. But
Yes.
I've really, over these last 4 years, gotten to, with every prep, all right, Lord, is this what you want me to do? And if so,
Show me.
provide the provision.
Yes.
Right? Whatever is needed. And this was really, really something that this year kind of came to the forefront even more, because the
Yes.
Rising Phoenix was a second place win for me this year.
That was a shocker
It
for
was
everyone.
a shock. It was a shock. And I was kind of like, wait, what?
What just happened?
I'm like, whoa, okay. And I think it was time for me to just evaluate where my integrity lied with certain aspects of prep. And I think I got a little too comfortable with saying yes too freely and not asking him first. And so then I said, okay, let me back up. What do you want me to do here? Because now I have 8 weeks before the Miss Olympia comes back around. And clearly I have made a misstep somewhere.
Oh, wow.
And I said, all right, God, I only have so much time to make a decision, but I just need you to give me the answer. And I just went to sleep. I just prayed and I went to sleep.
Isn't that what we're supposed to do? It says, come into my rest, right? That he is rest.
That's it. And you know it's him when you hear the small still, right? And again, that peace that comes. And it was like, I stay in Arizona.
Yeah, we're on exile
until the rest until the Olympia. But if I'm going to do this, Father, I need you to show me the pieces, because now we're talking about a financial commitment. But I just took a $25,000 pay cut with a second place.
Right.
So, you know,
and that's a big thing. What people don't realize. A lot of people don't realize what that. I mean, it's a letdown here sometimes too, right? But you put so much effort, and then when the paycheck is less, you're just like,
oh, ouch. And I mean, I cried. It was like, oh, this sucks. I just done some renovations on my home, and I'm like, oh, you know, I mean, but I
was
gotta
going to say, I think all of us cried. No, seriously.
But I think it was some time needed though, because I really got to sit back. I got an Airbnb 11 minutes away from the gym I was training at. I was able to get everything I needed, and it was like, it just flowed.
Yes.
And I think, you know, again, when it flows and you have that peace, that's God giving you the nudge. Yes. And now pray to me for the next step.
Yes.
And I'll tell you. And it just worked out so well. And I just prayed that, you know, God give my new coach the wisdom that he needs to guide me to the best look that we can develop in these 8 weeks. And he just made it happen.
And what coach is this?
So I'm with Damian Segovia now. He's at Pro Physique.
Yeah, with Whitney, right?
Yeah. So I was like,
he's
you
like
know
a pro
what?
maker.
He is.
Right? Or champion maker.
That's it. And his name lives true.
Yeah.
He is the producer. And I'm like,
so funny. I met him at the Arnold. I was walking to go have dinner with Wendy Fortino. This was a couple Arnolds back.
I just saw Wendy.
Yeah, so it was a couple Arnolds back, and I didn't know him, but I was walking next to a gentleman on the sidewalk at night, and he just looks over and he goes, "Hey, Monica," and I was like, "Hi," and he's like, I said, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Damian. I'm a coach." And I was like, very cool. So I got to know him and visit and hear about all the champions and everything, right? So
and he's such just a humble,
it's awesome
coach. He wants titles, but he cares about the athletes.
Yeah.
And I think that God sent him to me at the perfect time.
And you to him.
Exactly.
Because it was like 8 weeks too. You know, it's so close to the
and
Olympia,
I mean, it's so close. And I mean, I was scared, but I said, God, I know I can't go back home and be comfortable. Yeah. Because there was a misstep here. You know, we can sort out what happened later if that's what you so desire, but I need you to give me the wisdom about what to do right now.
Yes. I love it.
It was just
Isn't that how
amazing.
you take the word of God and you use it? Yeah. Right? And we walk it, we use it. And
we trust it.
We trust it.
That's the most important thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of, I'm like, okay, God, I mean, I can, you know, I know what the word says about, you know, a sowing and reaping. I'm like, so I'm going to always sow into the kingdom. But I know that sowing into the kingdom always produces the fruit, right? So when you have a need, you sow a seed. So I got with my prayer partners, my ministry partners. So I'm like, I'm sowing. I'm like, God, I need this. Tell me where to sow and I'll plant. And that became for 8 weeks.
Prayers, yes.
Exactly, for 8 weeks. I mean, I dialed in and I leaned into God in a new way. Yeah. And I think that this is the part that he wanted to get my attention about. I need you to slow down a little bit. I know that it's tempting to go out and just do all the things, and you're really trying to build up, because I feel almost obligated in a sense to revamp female bodybuilding, to make sure that people have a good perspective of it.
Yes.
And I don't want to say it's pressure, but it's perceived pressure. It's really not. It's just, you know, again, even asking God with that, show me how to handle it, what to say yes to, what to say no to, and teach me to slow down as I've needed to slow down.
Well,
so that was the lesson in Arizona.
You're doing that right now. You are already, and he's going to continue guiding you, and you're going to be a few years out from here looking back, going all the steps, and it's going exactly what God's planted in your heart that he wants you to do, and how he wants you. And just this kind of conversation, I think the more conversations we have like this, how important it is for people to hear this and to understand what makes a champion is not always what they just see, right?
Exactly.
It's what's in here.
Exactly.
And putting the heart and the 12
That's
inches.
it. Because good bodies could come a dime a dozen. but what's going on from head to heart?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what are people allowing to come out of their mouths? Right? This is going to be what truly is the person.
Yep.
And again, we've seen it. You've been in the industry a long time. Some people have great physiques, but the hearts are ugly.
Right.
And if
And it's
there's
just
no
like Jesus
God,
said,
there's
like-
nothing.
People need a
you
heart
know?
transplant.
Yeah, there
Yes.
you go.
Right?
There
Yeah.
you go. And be what it is that you want to see as change. And sometimes even that for us is like, you have to be that light.
Yes.
You are called to be the salt. So
Yes.
you have to know.
We've been talking
We always
about
talk
this.
about
Yeah.
It's all in the light.
That's
and we pray
it.
that, my husband and I pray that together in the mornings. We help us to be, just to bless others and think about others and
Yeah.
put others first, and whatever that means. If it's, one person walking by or a conversation we get to have, or, it's awesome.
And even that is a seed sown, right? When you start looking at things of the kingdom as every action is a seed sown, now you become more accountable to each
Right.
action that you take.
Yes.
Right.
And
Yes.
if more people looked at it that way, then it probably would change how people act. But it's up to us to also demonstrate that
Yes.
in love, because sometimes I think we forget that God still corrects people in love.
Yes,
You can't be harsh with people.
I'm like, at this point still, he does. At some point it's going to change.
He's patient, but
He is patient.
He wants to see us move from one level of faith to the next, and from glory to glory. But it's a matter of there are certain processes along the way that refine us,
Yes.
and sometimes they're not comfortable, but they're
What
necessary.
do they say? It says about the gold being refined.
That's
It
it. In
burns,
the fire.
It burns, and then all
It
that's
gotta
left
go
is
in
that
the
beautiful,
fire.
and all this stuff comes off it, all the
Yeah.
toxins and stuff.
Exactly.
So,
And it's
have
our
fun.
lives are very much like that because he knows that we live in a fallen world. We do. But the only way to really rise above that is
Yeah.
through him. There's no other way.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And only
So never lose
connecting
sight.
to him and really surrendering. Now that's a big thing for people who are in
Oh, yeah,
control
that's-
to give up and surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he is
Or
the
they,
one who.
or they just want to have church as their weekend, Sunday or Saturday, whatever they do.
Check the box.
Yeah, they check the box and they're like,
like-
"Oh, I'm good." Like,
No,
It's always God first.
Right.
Exactly.
Every single
And they
day
forget during
you
the
wake
week
up.
that we've got to continue to walk and demonstrate and to be in communication with them.
Exactly.
Right?
And ask. If you aren't sure, slow down. That could be the enemy trying to push you into something that's not going to be in
Not
alignment.
Actually, what we're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Right.
And you have to know. You know what? It's okay to say no.
Oh, girl, I said no to a lot of
That's
things
it.
in my life with this industry.
Oh, and I'm finally
A lot.
getting more comfortable with it because again, I felt so much pressure and stress to say yes more than no because I wanted female bodybuilding to be taken very seriously and I wanted it to be hopefully a gateway to open up more opportunities. But
Yes.
then it was like, okay, am I not God? Can you not trust me to create an opportunity for you?
Right.
Like, you don't have to carry all of this.
Right.
And it's like, okay, you got a good point. Let me step back
Wow.
for a second.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have to wrap up here pretty soon because I know you probably have other places to get to.
Oh,
and
there's
we could
always
I
business.
know we could sit and talk about the Lord for a
Yes.
long time.
Yeah.
And
It's like
fitness
us when we
bodybuilding.
talk. We talk for
I know,
hours.
We're, like,
We're
on
supposed
the-
to have like a 10-minute conversation. It becomes like an hour.
It's good though
So
because it strengthens our faith.
Yes.
Okay, so not to like go off like what's next, but what is do you have a plan for the ending of this year?
I do. So I chatted with Damien a little bit about what the off-season plan is going to be. I've already gone grocery shopping because I'll be here in Vegas until Tuesday.
Okay.
But I told him, I said, I'm really ready to get started pretty much as soon as I get home. So, I can take a couple days off. I won't go crazy. But
Have
let's
some
make
apple
sure,
pie,
There you
right?
go, just
Apple
a touch.
pie.
But I said, let's make sure I have a plan in place so that I can stay on track. Because you know what it is. I would go so far left sometimes after a show.
Yeah.
Swollen ankles, cankles, backs.
feeling
and
miserable,
and
and
it's horrible.
why did I do that?
And you
Yeah.
can't cardio it off fast enough,
Yeah.
and it's like
No,
it's
your body's
ridiculous.
like, look.
It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Your skin's like a poplar.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's part one of the plan. So we're gonna move into an off season, and then we're gonna establish a date to start prep. But once we establish that date, that's when I will start planning when to fly back out to Arizona, and I'll start looking for like all of my lodging accommodations and things like that.
Are you looking at Arnold and some of these other shows, or will you just
No,
do
I'm gonna
Olympia
stick
again?
to just these two, the Rising Phoenix and the Olympia.
Okay. Good.
They're just two really big shows for us.
Yep.
The highest paying shows
Yes.
too. So it's
Yeah.
better to
Okay.
focus my efforts there, because then for my sponsors, the rest of the year I get to travel.
Okay.
So I cut
Okay.
as soon as I start
That's
prep, I cut
wonderful.
the travel off.
Yeah.
I have to.
That's
again,
good.
I want to say no. I mean, yes, but I have to say no
Yeah.
because
you
at
have
this
to
point,
do what's right for you and and of course your sponsors, like you said.
yeah,
So that's great.
yeah.
That's
So
smart.
that's the plan,
That's
and then
smart.
I will go back out to Arizona for however long the prep will last for the Rising Phoenix first, but then I will stay
For
the
Olympia.
prep for the
Yeah.
Olympia. So this is where, again, I know that God has entrusted this connection and relationship where all I have to do is show up and be the athlete, and this is where
Isn't that a
it's
blessing?
easy for me. It
Yes.
is.
And
It
you're
really
coming for
is.
the 6th title.
6.
It's already out
And
there.
God willing, 11.
Yes.
I would love to see 11, but we'll take it one. I'll ask God
One
first
at a
and take it
time,
one at a time. Wisdom speaking, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's been amazing getting
Thank
to visit.
you.
And we could probably talk more. We should probably try to do like an Instagram live and
That
have
would
some
be
more
great.
conversation about what we're talking about, because I really feel like a lot of people want to hear more of that. They don't want to just hear about working out, but they want
Yeah.
to hear about how you
Faith.
keep your heart strong,
Yeah.
and how do you continue to stay motivated, because you can't just stay motivated by the next show. Like, you have to have something that's a deeper
Yeah.
drive and a why that
You
is
do.
more powerful and impactful.
And I think a good question, if we have a moment,
Yes.
for you, because I've gotten this
Oh.
a lot recently. Some people have asked, how do you handle when church goers approach you and say, don't you feel bad for being in front of men and tempting them with these little bikinis on? And that becomes a question that I chuckle when I hear it.
Yeah.
But, from your perspective, have you
Right.
gotten that? Or
Well,
gotten asked that question?
Of course. I mean, because I've been doing this now for 30 years.
Yeah.
So, of course. But you can't change people's minds, first of all. And second of all, it's like, I know that when I respond to them about where God has taken me and what I've learned through this, that He's given me opportunities to talk to people that I would have never, ever had an opportunity to talk to in the past. And it's what I've done with my industry. I've had conversations like this because of what I did in the fitness world, right? And I've been able to share. I mean, I remember some of my 1995 articles out of Muscle Mag and whatever, and I talked about my faith. I talked about even heaven and hell and salvation, and they wrote everything in the article.
Yeah.
So, it's like, and I'll tell people, it's like, I'm the first to say, like, I'm not perfect, and I know that, there's probably some things that maybe I compromise a little bit here or there, but, God is always working on me too.
That's it.
What about, not that we want to go, it's like there's a healthy balance between the physical and the spiritual.
Exactly.
And I feel like, we are a soul going down the track of life, and we have a body and we have a spirit.
That's right.
And they both have to be built at the same time. This is an industry that needs to know the Lord.
Yes.
Right.
Needs to
That's
have
right.
people that... It has a lot of people in it that need a little bit more than what is just about the body.
Exactly.
So God's got us placed and can use
And that's,
us.
yes,
right?
that's the ticket.
I mean, look He used Rahab.
Exactly.
Who was a prostitute. I'm
And she's
sorry.
in the whole
And she-
lineage of
and
Jesus.
She is the lineage
The
of
whole
Jesus. So
lineage of Jesus.
I don't compare it to Rahab, but I'm just
That's
saying.
it, that's it.
God can use us if we allow Him to. And,
Exactly.
And then it also says, don't judge because God will judge you the same
Yeah.
way, right? So
Yeah.
it's like
And-
we just have to be very careful about all
You
that.
too. And don't try to disguise something that by what you see on the outside. When I say that, I mean there can be people who fully cover
Yes.
and they still have lust problems.
Yes.
So that's an
Right.
internal issue.
Right.
But then it's all about what is your intention behind what you're doing.
Right.
And
Right.
like, okay, if you're not on social media bending over all the time and showing this and showing that, you're tasteful with what you do.
Yes.
Right? You're responsible with how you handle these opportunities.
It's how you carry
Right.
It's
yourself.
how you carry
Yes.
it. But God has to have people placed strategically in places
Right.
to get the job done. And He's not
Agreed.
going to neglect people in bodybuilding, people in any
Right.
sphere.
Right.
He will plant people. And
Absolutely.
so those who think that they can just not do that and still honor Him, no,
Yeah.
He's going to use you where you're planted.
Right.
We all have our
I love
purpose.
it. I
you
love
know?
it.
Yeah.
Well, I think we could probably keep going. So we're going to have to come back around and do another interview
Indeed.
with
Part 2.
And I'll only just tell you now, if you ever need another prayer partner or you have something, just text me. You got my
thank
number.
you.
I'll get on a phone call with 2 seconds. later we can pray, and I can just be
See,
a partner with
there
you.
it is, even there.
We prayed together, like even earlier this week. We started
That's
the week with
awesome.
prayer.
Let me pray for you, Roxy. You're getting ready to go on stage. So,
And where 2 or 3
yeah.
are in agreement, right?
Yes,
It
he's right
works.
here with us. So
it works.
Okay, so just know that about me, and if I ever need a,
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna hook
You
you up,
got
hit
it.
you up too.
You
Hey,
got it.
Andrea.
Consider it
hey,
done.
Ms Olympia, can you pray for me?
I'm like, let's go. I'm ready.
So powerful. I love it. Okay.
Thanks, Monica. You're a jewel.
Thank you, and congratulations, Miss Pretty Muscle.
God is
Five
good.
times.
So true. Five times, Miss Olympia.
10
Okay.
times? No, 5 times for now.
Five times.
That's it.
For
Okay.
now.
That's
Thank
it.
you so much for joining us here in the Monica Brant Show. We're coming back soon with more. I almost said I've been talking so much with more of the Olympia 60th anniversary. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
girls.
Roxy.
Thank you so much.
StemRegen Sport is a clinically tested blend of natural ingredients that boost stem cell release and migration, supporting healthy tissue repair and renewal to help boost post-workout recovery and enhance vitality. One of the greatest joys in my life is being an athlete. I absolutely love being athletic. I've earned multiple world championship titles, including the elusive IFBB Fitness Olympia Championship. Thanks to StemRegen, I am unleashing my regenerative potential